with your hindsight being 2020, Nicci,
Ooh,
and you say,
ain't that something?
oh yeah.
So.
You look back over those last 30 years with your career, and you said that you was struggling most of it and thriving throughout it as well. How do you feel mentally, though? Because that's 30 years of going through it, up and down, and a long behind fight trying to make it do what it's supposed to. So what would you have told young Nicci at 20 to prepare for, to be able to go through that journey? Does she sit back and enjoy the journey, as they say? Does she put on her boxing gloves and strap up her boots and say, get ready for war? Do you say, find you something else to do?
Shit, they call me crazy, so I would say I do all of that. Split personality, right? I will beat your ass. Nam yo ring and kill, and I'm tired. Sounds like a typical week in my life.
Yeah.
You know what? I realize, and this is gonna sound like a cliche, but what a blessing is it to have God put you in the room where Michael Jackson give you a record deal, make you the first artist on his label. What a blessing is that?
Come on now.
What a blessing is it for Tyler Perry to pick you out of a play that had literally 20 people in the audience, and he happened to be one of those people, and put you in a play that toured for a year and a half and is one of the most iconic plays that they do. And Tyler Perry is the most successful mogul in media right now. What a blessing is it to partner with Queen Latifah. So each time I am met with the struggle, I remember the rooms that God has put me in. I remember the rooms that my ability to, there was so many times in LA I didn't. We got stranded in the desert. That was my first lesson. I got stranded in the desert before Brownstone became successful because I stayed behind because I wanted to network with this guy, and Maxie was doing this video and he left me in the desert. Car broke down, it was crazy. I was crying, Lord Jesus, if you get me through this. The next day or a week later, they introduced us to a publisher. The publisher introduced us to Jerry Greenberg, and the rest was history. So that was my first example of knowing that God is going to always bring me to my knees to make me pay attention, that the greatest lessons in my life come from the greatest struggles. I had all sorts of traumatic things happen to me throughout my life, my childhood, things that I could just sit up and be like, this happened, and then that happened, and then that person did that. And I've understood that everyone has that story. Everybody has a moment where they feel like I can't deal with it, and some people choose not to. I'm not one of those people. Every time I am met, because I know what my intentions are, I move my whole family to Cali with me. I moved my cousins, everybody will be like, damn, yeah, we did live in Cali. We did have those experiences. Got my sister a job at Motown. I know why God put me in this position because I'm not a selfish woman. I'm somebody who's going to always look out for the community, look out for the people I love and care about, and even people I don't know. And I know that that's the reason why I'm met with so much adversity and bullshit, because I'm not somebody who lacks integrity and character. I'm not somebody that you're going to give me a bottle of vodka and have me doing dumb shit in this business. I'm not somebody who, I have made mistakes. I have done shit that I'm like, oh God, why did I do that? Why did I say that? But I know where I'm coming from. I know why I'm focused on this win. I recognize, like in the book, The Purpose Driven Life, it is not about me. I've watched too many of us fall from grace. That's what From the Bottom Up is all about.
Yeah.
That was the title of our Brownstone album. It was the title of the TV show of the women that were released from prison after being at the top of their game and hitting rock bottom. It is the title of my nonprofit organization. We're always going to be in a place of ebb and flow. God brings us to that low level so we can see what's down there and determine whether we want to stay or climb our asses back up to the top. And as often as we make the same mistakes, we will repeat the same lessons. The solution to my problem is focusing on getting this IP situation taken care of. I look at it as a blessing. I look at it as a business opportunity. You took something that belonged to me without asking me for permission. Now let's negotiate what you pay me for that. And go about your business and do what you do, and let me go about mine. And I'm going to turn that into an opportunity for a lot of people who deserve more opportunities to have those. That's it. So when I look back at my career overall, yeah, this shit was hard. But it don't mean that I'm running around this motherfucker trying to jump off of a bridge. You ain't never got to worry about that, because I know where my blessings come from and I know the impact of my truth.
My question is, Nicci, did you enjoy the journey?
No.
Because, you know, that's what everybody
There
says.
are moments that I look back and I'll be like, oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Oh, that was fun. The moments I enjoy most are on stage.
Okay.
The moments I enjoyed most were when I was performing as an artist, or when I was watching something that I created come to fruition and be performed.
What was it like being in the music industry as well when you get in there and you're looking for the whiz and then you find Richard Pryor in the back?
Oh, well, shit, that ain't just the music industry. I found a wizard in TV. But
You see what I'm saying?
Two of them, like,
Come on.
it's so funny on R&B Divas, I coined that. Like, the whiz, right? Now everybody's talking the Wizard of Oz.
Come on.
Man, listen, my daddy told me, Clay, Big Mix, McMurray, he wrote If I Were Your Woman for Gladys Knight, y'all. My
All
daddy
right
was
now.
Control of Motown.
That's right.
My daddy said this industry made up of pimps and hoes. Period. Now he old school and that ain't right. And I mean, when we look at all of these stripper dramas on TV, you know.
Yeah.
But he said, baby, it's made of strippers and hoes. You have to decide which side of the fence you want to stand on. Either you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, Dad, that's really terrible. So I had a perspective on it, but I did not really understand that what he was trying to say is you are either going to be an owner or a worker, work for hire. You gonna own the what is it, the stroll?
Yeah. I'm with you.
And I didn't understand it. And I think if I hadn't had all those experiences, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I just wouldn't understand it. Like so many people that are peers of mine that could look back maybe at their careers in the 90s and be like, oh, it was fun and we had a blast. It was great. It was wonderful. And they talk about, you know, I remember that the music, the content, all that stuff was great. But we weren't winning. Because them contracts we signed was some bullshit.
Yeah.
We weren't winning because TLC, the biggest girl group of all times, Left Eye already said what they made, 300,000. Like we weren't.
Yeah.
So how can you possibly think when you look back on those experiences outside of the nostalgia and the music and the quality of the work?
Yeah.
And then when you think about the quality of the work, you think, we got stuff that's still being played. I made Tory Lanez a multimillionaire.
Come on.
We
Come
made,
on.
not I, we
Yeah.
made, and we're still not getting broke off the way we supposed to get broke off because of something we signed when we was 23, 24 years old. So you can't really look back at that and be like, wow, that was awesome. Like that really laid the foundation for generational wealth in our community, in my family.
Yeah.
You'd be fronting to do that. A lot of friendships were transactional.
Yeah.
So some bullshit. Like what about the industry is dope? Like what about the industry right now is super dope? Like the young rappers today, they dying like
They ain't even getting a chance to enjoy their career. The one thing that always surprised me the most about the industry as well is that when you get in here and you realize that either you're gonna be a pimp or a hoe, and you either gonna own or work for hire.
Yep.
When you realize you got to own, then you realize that, oh, that means I got to get my hustle on.
Jesus.
And that's the part that nobody ever sees. You see the lights, camera, and the action, but you don't know that the people that are actually having things are the ones that are out hustling everybody and working hard as hell 24/7, 365. For you, when you got into the industry, what were some of those awakening times that you found yourself saying, okay, I can't believe this. I thought it was this way, but come to find out it's really that way.
You know what's really interesting? I found that out real early. I found that out, like, I think even before our music came out. Because I remember we were in these car services when we were recording our first album. And I remember they're like, you know, just order a car to go to the studio. We stayed in this beautiful apartment on 5th Avenue that Sony owned at the time. I believe Sony owned. And we're recording our album and they're giving us this stipend and we're just, you know, New York, concrete jungle, you know, call me Carmel Car Service, come over here. And then they sent that statement. And I was like, who paying for this? They're like, oh, no, you don't have to pay for it. No, you don't have to pay for it. Goes into your budget. Oh, great, goes into your budget. And then you ask for your advance, and they like, oh, you don't have one. Because you was flossing in New York, living it up. And we weren't even living it up like that. Our budget was $250,000 for the first album. I think it went up another $50,000 on the second album. We got a $50,000 advance. They were selling the records at the time for probably $9-10 wholesale. We sold 1 million records. We made $10 million, but somehow that $350,000 budget became, because technically I still owe Sony $1 million. And
are you serious?
No, yeah, we got in the red. About $850. Something like that. Now, let me say, Artist Forward is now working the thing out with the streaming, because streaming wasn't referenced in our agreements. Streaming didn't exist. So they're making effort to do, but I still look and see that I owe them $858,000 still after making $10 million for them off of our albums. And it just blows my mind. But guess what? We signed a contract at 23 years old to say that. So again, back to, you don't see the hustle, but the hustle is very difficult. It is oftentimes you are blocked from the reward. When you start talking about ownership, when you start talking about, you become targeted for a lot of reasons, for a lot of things. You know what I mean? Don't be surprised if, they be like, she crazy in a minute. But you just got to keep going behind. That's the thing. This industry, the beauty of this industry is that we're so talented. I'm looking at all these plaques, and I'm looking at over 10 million streams worldwide. Like, I'm looking 10 billion. That's not even million. Like 10 billion. Like, that's foreign to me. And I look at all the money we're generating. And I look at how little our community benefits from it, and it breaks my heart. I can't operate from a place of anger, though. I can't operate. I mean, it makes me angry, and some people would say me sharing my truth sounds angry because I'm passionate how I talk, and for Detroit, so I be like this. But I'm not gonna just sit back and pretend like it's okay anymore. And I'm hoping that those executives in the industry now, whose parents were executives, and the nepotism, and the uncle who hired the nephew, and all that shit that we know goes down, I hope that they see what's happening and start to recognize that something needs to change. And they lean on those of us that are still here, of sound mind, with good intentions, wanting everybody to win. Not just the performers and the creatives, but the people who distribute. I'm not discounting what they do. I don't want my masters. What would I do with my masters right now? Go try to put them on Spotify, and they be like, nah. Sony said no. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we gonna do? We need those people, I believe, because those are those people who understand the numbers and the administration of it all. But we need partnerships, equitable partnerships.